Hi, this is Master P, otherwise known as Master Pakalolo. He is Hawaiian by way of Detroit, and he used to be a model. He was also in a war. He has some war trauma. He's a flirty man. I had a luau for him once, actually, when I decided that he was Master Pakalolo. My sister and I threw a luau from him. As you can see, my house is a little tropical. And we got all the Hawaiian delicacies, including Spam. And we had a whole party for Master P, a little luau, It was a party for me from my home country, my homeland. Hello, my name is Tracey Quin. I am from Southern California, born and raised. Currently live in Hollywood, California, and I paint. This one isn't quite finished, but I'm really into textures right now. I've been using a lot of my old costume jewelry from when I was a dancer. I have some of my old Doc Johnson check stubs in there, some wood pieces. I'm really into collage right now. I bought all these old 90s porno magazines and been utilizing them in my work. This one was inspired by a friend of mine, Jada Stevens, and I have some of my old costume jewelry in there. I was on a sick one with the mushrooms and I cut up a bunch of money, and I spent way more on this painting than I intended that day. This one is my beloved Scott Storch. I don't know what happened, but this last year I fell in love with him and I got really into glitter. His hair is made of Newport cigarettes that I smoked and backwood blunt guts. Let's see. This is a self-portrait I did of myself. It has a lot of my old costume jewelry, glitter. I also dumped a couple bags of cocaine on there because I was on a journey. I don't know who buys $200 worth of cocaine and then throws it all over a painting, but that's what I did. This is another one. I'm doing with the collage, the 90s porno magazine thing. This is one of the more cartoony ones that I'm doing lately. It's glasses that I broke when I was painting. Let's see. This is one of the first ones I did that was kind of more cartoony, and I've never really done kind of a whole scene like that before, like with the sharks and the mermaid kind of thing going on. This is a picture of me. It's pretty cool. There's some seashells in there. There's a lot of different a lot of seashells in there, I think, in this one. Let's see. This one, this just has an old picture from my old apartment. This was a really weird time in my life. I think that's probably why I put that there. And it really says something about you when you have like a shit ton of cups and stuff on your nightstand table. Like, what kind of shit is on your nightstand table? Kind of, I don't know. I think it says something about you. I started painting when I was probably like 18 or 19. I had a boyfriend, and him and his friend used to work at Aaron Brothers. His best friend gave me some watercolors and some watercolor paper, and he was like, here. He hated me. I guess he just wanted to give me something to do so I would leave them alone and not bother them. And I started painting, and from there I never really stopped. I took some breaks when I started shooting pornography. I didn't paint for a while, and then later on, once I started kind of like making my exit from shooting porn, that's when I started getting into painting again. And I really got into it a lot, and I had kind of like grown as an artist from even when I first started, even though I hadn't been painting at all. So I just started doing portraits is really where it kind of started. I did a portrait of Phil Spector and I posted it on Twitter, I think it was. And a lot of people were like, oh my God, that's amazing. And I had some crazy, like, well-known blogger at the time. He wanted to buy it from me. And so he bought it from me and I sent it to him. And I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. The subjects that I chose were all actually people that kind of influenced me, I guess. Or just people that I kind of, I don't know. I don't know if you would say necessarily influenced, but I was just kind of, like, fascinated by, like, growing up. Phil Spector, like, come on, the Wall of Sound, great, but he's also, like, a little out there and eccentric. I love that. My favorite portrait, I think, is the Dennis Rodman one that I did. Everyone really likes that one a lot. I really love that one. Dennis Rodman was always such, he was so fascinating, and you just kind of, like, loved him automatically, like, how eccentric he was, but it seemed like he was, like, sensitive too. I don't know. Something about Dennis Rodman always fascinated me growing up. I did a portrait of Lorena Bobbitt I really like a lot. I mean, I was a young kid when that whole thing went down, so I just, like, I don't know, it was a phenomenon of my childhood that was, like, profound to me, because, like, what woman hasn't wanted to cut off a guy's dick before? I did Patsy Cline. I was really into Patsy Cline for a while. Michael Jackson with a couple of midgets. So yeah, and then slowly it started progressing into whatever it is now, like more abstract, I guess, kind of stuff. And now I'm getting more into this weird, like, cartoony, I don't know, it's kind of psychedelic. I don't really know what you would call it. I never went to art school. I don't know any of this terminology, but I enjoy painting, and over time what has developed is I really work a lot of my shit out when I'm painting. And as I started to realize this, I would be able to hone it in more, or develop it, or figure out how to get to that space easier. Some of my routes have been a little bit chaotic. I mean, like, I don't really think it's very appropriate to, like, get a bag of cocaine and, like, a giant I call it a briefcase when you get one of those big ass boxes of Modelo's. A couple bags of cocaine in a briefcase and, like, going ham is a little bit, maybe it's cool in your 20s, I don't know. Maybe it's sometimes cool later too, but not always the best. This year particularly, I've really been into mushrooms. It's helped me to kind of work through my inner issues, and then I also like to paint while I'm on mushrooms as well, because they kind of just go hand in hand. And that kind of developed through my experience with ayahuasca. I did ayahuasca, and I really had a lot of healing from that. So the same techniques or things that were used in the ceremony of ayahuasca, I really do take elements of that from this ayahuasca ceremony that I did. I really do take elements of that when I do mushrooms. I don't like to do mushrooms and party with people. Like, it's for me to reflect on myself and to work my shit out and figure it out. And the painting helps me do that, and I really enjoy myself when I'm doing that. I don't always do that. Sometimes I'll sketch stuff out. I'm not, like, on mushrooms or crazy or anything like that, but yeah, I don't know, that's pretty much it. This one kind of has a weird backstory. I was friends with these girls, and they were kind of bitches. They were kind of making fun of me doing OnlyFans. It inspired me, so I made this thing. And this is one of the ones that I started utilizing, like, the 90s, the old 90s porno magazines. All of my paintings are pretty phallic and explicit, especially with the incorporation of the 90s clippings. It's definitely not for anyone under 18, I guess. Let's see. This one, I really like this one a lot. It got super weird, and actually I did this partially on mushrooms on 2 different trips. See that, like, there's eyes in it, there's lips, there's, like, different body parts. It's pretty psychedelic. When you look at it up close, even over here, there's, like, different, you could see there's, like, a naked woman in there. It's not just, like haphazard, even though it kind of was. This is one of my favorite ones though, because it's so psychedelic. Like the dicks look like mushrooms. I was very much inspired by my mushrooms. This is one of the ones that I did that was with the porno clippings kind of thing. To be quite honest, I really only just made this because I was like, I need to make something like that's commercially, because some people aren't going to have like the art eye to appreciate my other stuff. So this was a gimmick to get you first time art people, to get some people into art for the first time. And I think it also kind of says something. It says something. This one is kind of dark. I think when I was doing it, it was a little bit dark for me. I do stuff with markers sometimes. I kind of feel like this isn't done yet. Usually the ones that I really hate, I bring them out and turn them out. So we'll see. This one might be to be continued. This one, I'm trying to remember. This one goes this way. This one, another one that's kind of dark for me. I don't even really remember what's on here, but I remember I was going through a dark period. I was going through a lot. Let's see. I mean, doesn't everybody have mommy issues? This is one that I made when I officially decided I was done with this bitch, to be honest. This is a picture of my mother. And I guess I had some feelings about her. Some issues. Still working that out, I guess. This one I really like a lot. This one was kind of when I first started painting again for like the second time, probably in 2019. I mean, I was still painting, but I just kind of got back into it a little bit. And this is when it kind of turned a weird direction. I was stealing mushrooms a little bit from the person I was living with at the time. I was sneaking them just a little bit, and I snuck a little bit too much that day, and it kind of got a little crazy on there. I like this one. Glitter, happy. I do a lot of dicks and tits, and a lot of dicks with tits, or tits with dicks. I'm into it. I really like this one because I feel like it's really pretty, and some of my stuff can be kind of crazy, chaotic, and this one's just kind of really pretty, like sexy, sophisticated, sexy bitches. This is actually a two-parter. Kind of goes together. This is one of those marker ones. I do like marker shit. So these kind of go together. They're twins. And that's what I have that I can show. Some of the other ones, we wouldn't be able to censor them enough to even show them.